Flat Earth Debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you? Then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Ko-Fi, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Sensual Goat, Neil Cosentino, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Let's get it on!
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. We should do some housekeeping. We didn't do any yesterday, as far as I can remember. Unless it was just...
We're getting sloppy.
Getting sloppy, exactly. Need to keep ourselves sharp. Keep ourselves frosty. Keep the audience aware that these questions have been dealt with a long time ago, and they're only being reiterated in the form of housekeeping questions because they've been dealt with, and we don't want people to forget that fact. That is indeed the purpose of housekeeping, to keep house. So, with that in mind, any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
When you say container, does it have to be physical?
Yes. Can't have a
So
non-physical
what's this
container.
I'm hearing about forces holding in gas pressure?
What about them? You can't have a non-physical container. Is that a
Does that
no?
include vacuums too?
Again, Surf Daddy.
Does that include a vacuum too?
You can't have a vacuum without a container either, no. You'll need a container for either. To have a vacuum, you'd need a container. To have gas pressure, you need a container. Containers are something to contain the gas. They are physical in nature, and they offer the gas the ability to press upon the containment. That, in essence, is what pressure is. The force exerted on the walls of the container. How much there is within the containment is the level of pressure overall. Now, in a vast system, you can have varying pressure states. Those systems can only exist if you have pressure to begin with. And to have pressure in the first instance, you need containment. Physical containment. To be breathing gas, we must be under containment. It is that simple.
Nah, you're mixing up gas pressure and pressurized gas, Nathan.
They're the same thing.
Pressurized gas.
Yeah, to be a gas that is pressurized, you would need to be in containment and then have more gas added to you to be pressurized at a higher rate, if you want to describe it with that particular convention. But to be pressurized gas is to be gas at pressure. They are one and the same thing.
Yeah, but if you go to Mount Everest, you know, it's different than where I am now. What's the answer for that? The gradient?
And there's no container in between us and Everest, right, Neil?
That's right. You're bloody right.
But there's still gas pressure. There's gas pressure on Everest too. Not much to make the gas pressure. Very little vegetation producing the gases that obviously have gone up from ground level for people to be able to breathe at all on the top of Everest, which they do. It's difficult. The air is thinner because there's very little of it being produced. But for it to be at pressure, and slightly less than the areas where it's literally being pumped out of the ground, i.e. it's being produced, then you still must be at contained gas to be at pressure at the top of Everest. What's your point?
My point is, it's not equalized. If we were in containment, there would be total equalization. Right?
No, you've got gas being produced at the ground. So if you've got like a lake with water in it and it's getting heated up, then the gas is going to be produced at the lake level, flat, and then go up. But there's going to be a greater abundance of that gas at the point where it's produced, greater than somewhere above it where it isn't. Now, there's still gas up there, and obviously with entropic dispersion being what gets it there, the laws of entropy still hold true. But for that process to take place, and I've already said this once, you first must be at pressure. Therefore, you must have containment. Can we move on? Just for the audience's benefit, the sky's not a vacuum. Right? In conclusion, if the sky was a vacuum, then the gas we are breathing would fill that space. It would disperse into it. We'd have never developed pressure in the first place if the sky was a vacuum. It isn't. Outer space, a sky vacuum, is fake.
Yeah, but hold on a second. All right? It could be that, gases move at high speeds in all directions. Maybe they just get a little tired and that becomes the common line where they run out of gas and they just hang out there.
No, they just carry on in all directions, whatever vector they're travelling. They don't just run out of gas, as you put it. You mean, what, defy entropic dispersion laws and gas behaviour? No, they won't be doing that. Gas just behaves as gas behaves. It follows whatever vector it's travelling at whatever rate it's travelling until something impedes it. It can't reach absolute zero. It will always obey those general rules of dispersion of gases. That's how gas behaves.
We got to be missing something because everybody can't be wrong. I mean, they brought me in school. When I was a kindergartner, they showed me that I am here on this globe and I'm in the solar system and there's outer space and there's other planets. I mean, we have to be missing something, no?
I mean, I don't know what you mean, missing something. What are you talking
maybe
about?
there's containment, but with little holes in. So when they go to the outer space, they just go through the little holes.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
No, you see, if you've ever seen, like, Alien, where they have the notion that you can look at planets without containment, and you may be on the Nostromo or whatever it's called, and if a drop of acid gets on one of the windows, what happens? Does it just say, well, most of the gas can just stay inside, it will be all right? No, that's law of nature number 2. Second law of thermodynamics, gas dispersion, entropic diffusion. Right? The higher pressure will eventually equalize with the pressure outside. So if there's a vacuum on the other side of a piece of glass and everything's sealed, then one little hole will result in the equalization of that pressure. Now, you could say, what if I put a meter right outside the window where the pressure's leaking out of the Nostromo? You're like, yeah, it'll be higher there than on the other side of the void of the vacuum. Yeah. But that's entropy in effect, isn't it? The gas dispersing through the hole. Because what's actually happening is all of the gases that are inside the containment are bouncing around and hitting the walls of the container. But eventually they hit the hole and leak out. Now, with enough time, every single gas particle will reach that hole and breach the containment. It's a law of nature. Gas fills space.
So you confirm then. So we all win. So they can have the sky vacuum, we can have containment, and there's just little holes in between.
No, we'd still be dead. That was I thought I just made that clear. You're in that scenario with a Swiss cheese container around an Earth that's a ball, and you're saying, well, we'll just have to concede that to have the pressure, we must be under containment. Well, it's not contained if there's a hole in it. Look up what contained means. Now, if you've got a prisoner and you go, right, we're going to put him in this cell with lots of holes in it. But that's basically like containment. And then you come back an hour later and he's gone. And you go, oh, wasn't he contained?
By the way, speaking of prison, Vito Guzzo was released the other day after doing 28 years in prison.
Now he's going to go to the
You're proving my
mattresses.
point with that, Nathan.
Sorry?
You're
Say again?
proving my point because there are prison bars where they're wide enough to get your hand through, but not your whole body.
Oh,
So you
good
just
one,
need a
Leo.
rocket. So you just need a rocket small enough to go through the bars.
Right, and inmates like unbonded gas particles.
In this example, yeah.
So they've got no intermolecular bonds. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few intermolecular bonds in prisoners. Or any solid.
I haven't asked them.
You don't need to. They're not gases.
Hold on,
Right.
he's got a point. That prisoner is contained, but there are slits through those bars.
He's
Now,
a
could it
solid.
be?
Are you deaf? Solid. Gases, right, are unbonded particles.
Oh, shoot. I
Unbonded.
forgot.
So, tiny little hole. Yeah? Let's put it this way, right? I've, in the last 12 months, had a humidity problem. In the UK, we seal up our homes in winter. And if for whatever reason you can't control the humidity, it just builds up, right? It's contained if it's all sealed up. Now, the same is true the other way around. If your house isn't sealed, you're just subject to whatever the humidity level is outside. Eventually, the entropic effect of the equalization of the gas within your building will occur because there's holes in your building. So if it's 70% moisture outside, with enough time, it will be 70% moisture inside, just through pure entropic dispersion of gases. Yeah, the high moisture quantity gas outside the building finds a hole, and eventually it bangs against the hole and gets its way into the gas inside to mix with it. And over time, it will equalise. Now, obviously, there's a dynamic system in the respect that there's people living inside and doors opening and closing and various other things, kettles being boiled. We live in a very dynamic world. And as far as gases are concerned, they're affected by everything. So we have a very dynamic system. But it doesn't alter the fact that the gases themselves, in order to be at pressure, must be under containment. We've got one housekeeping question about. We're almost 15 minutes into the live.
Yeah, listen, gas pressure, you need containment. Let's move on.
Yeah.
As fun as it
Morning,
was.
guys.
Coming from you, Neil, you dragged us all the way here. Well, and me, a little bit.
Chocolate.
Morning, morning.
Morning, morning.
Was that
Okey-dokey.
whiz or was that chocolate?
I believe it's chocolate, my friend. Good morning.
I don't know what
I don't sound that much like that guy. Come on.
No, he doesn't. You don't.
Yeah, this guy, yes, he does. Everybody in chat was saying yesterday, sounds like chocolate, sounds like chocolate. I said, I am chocolate.
No, but they've got the same nice tone to their speaking voices. All three of them. I said Snoop Dogg, right? Well, yeah, they've all got that type of tone, but they don't sound the same. I wouldn't say chocolate sounded like that guy. Well, that's just me. I don't think so. I think Eli sounds quite a lot like chocolate some days, but that's normally because they've both got crap microphones, as opposed to they've got a similar tonality.
Listen, so does Eli. He thought he was chocolate himself.
Anyway. Right, we've got a video to cover today, as we've done one housekeeping question. I'm just going to leave it at that. I thought we would get through all of them, but that is definitely not going to be the case, as it seems. So there we go. What we are going to do is talk about this video by Pine Creek. Not a massive YouTuber, similar size to us. In fact, fairly bigger, 10,000 maybe more subscribers than us. So, you know, middle of the road YouTuber. In reality, we're both tiny. But you know how it is. He's similar size, right? The video is called I Take On About 10 Flat Earthers. Okay, fair enough. Interesting title. So please let Pine Creek know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by either the YouTube bots or the videographer himself. I'm spamming the link into my live stream chat as we speak. So I'm not saying it for my health, in all sincerity. Do actually go to this videographer. Knowing he's similar size to me, slightly bigger, I would definitely be grateful of the extra views, the extra interaction, the extra thumbs up if you like the video. But every YouTuber likes that interaction, so he's not going to be ungrateful for you popping along and telling him at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Just helps whatever this video is in the YouTube algorithmic statistical love that it needs to be massaged up the rankings, if it's going to be. Now that is true unilaterally across all YouTube videographers, whether they know it or not. But it's more true when someone's of this sort of size, because they're like, man, if I put a bit more effort in, I might actually be a big YouTuber. I've been telling myself that for 10 years. So, I've given you that preamble and waffle just so the 67 people who are currently in my live stream do actually toddle along to Pine Creek and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed by the YouTube censor bots, or indeed the videographer, him or herself. Now, this has been provided to us by... Is it you, Liam, that gave us this? Should really know.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that he's titled the video something like, I take on 10 flat earthers, which is lending credence to Brian's analogy the other day where the globers think that we're so dumb that they can take on 10 of us at a time and win easily, which is quite funny. But unfortunately for this gentleman, he's going to come across some very competent flat earthers, some of which you may recognise.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Go on, Chocolate. Or are you just saying, oh, really?
Hold on. I was
Yeah,
going to.
yeah.
Sorry, I was going
Go
to
on,
say, is he taking on 10 feast of nonsenses? But now Liam is saying something like he ran into some competition.
Pound says Neil's called it. Is Neil right? I bet he is.
Huh?
We'll see.
I'm going to give you a quick cut.
One answer, but why does the shape of the Earth matter?
Oof.
Well, it's a category error straight away. So when you say shape, what do you mean shape? We measure an aspect of Earth. Flatness is not a shape. But we do utilise that in terms of daily measurements of the surface of Earth. That's not a shape. So, category error. Good.
You know, that's one of those questions that really kind of aggravates me when I decided to not believe what you think the shape of the Earth is, and then you're going to ask me, why does the shape matter? When you attack me for not believing.
Yeah, this guy's, like when I've been saying over the last week or so that they're the same as us. This guy's the same as us. He's just hasn't got the balls to admit that he's asking these questions, right? He wants to project them straight onto us and moan at us for not having answers, when it's you're the one questioning it. Go and find your own bleeding answers.
Exactly.
Why does the nature of reality matter?
Okay.
I mean, the nature of reality in terms of aspects that we measure, flatness, matters for navigation, building, charting, flying, sailing. You know, there's quite a few things that matter when it comes to measuring that aspect. And it is flat, as I've already mentioned. But that's why it matters, because you wouldn't be able to navigate or build if you didn't have that aspect of Earth to measure. That'd be its flatness.
Okay, can you answer that question?
Well, because we live in reality.
Well, it's all about mind over matter. If it don't mind, it don't matter.
If it didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying this hard to convince you that you live on a giant spinning space ball in a never-ending vacuum.
Okay, but what is it that, like, what do you think it is that makes it matter so much?
Like, well, I'm renovating a bathroom, and the guy who was preparing the walls wasn't making them straight, right? So they were at a wrong angle. So when they started putting on the tiles, they started falling down. So in everyday life, it matters a lot what the hell we measure. If we can't measure a 90-degree angle correctly,
perfect. Yes.
you can't even renovate a bloody bathroom.
Gotcha. You're saying
So-
without these axiomatic principles like perpendicular 90, you're not going to be able to decorate. You'll struggle in general terms just decorating your home if you don't understand the axiomatic principles of flatness. And they are applied to Earth.
Right. It matters to me if the bloody tiles in my bathroom keep falling down or not. And, you know, in our everyday life, we are confronted on a daily basis with a myriad of situations where it is absolutely necessary that we're able to measure a 90-degree angle correctly.
There's a building in New York, Nathan, one. There's a building in New York, in Manhattan, and it's really high, it's a skyscraper, and they were building it, and something happened in the building of it, and they built it at a very, very slightly off of vertical, and they haven't been able to finish it, because it's very slightly off of vertical. Everything else is 90 degrees to horizontal in Manhattan. But this one, because whatever way they built it, there was a problem. They did something wrong. So now the thing is on hold, which I don't know, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, the stress won't go directly down being perpendicular to the plane of reference that building is built on.
Right. And I'm sure the guy who's asking that question, well, what does it matter? You know, when you see the bill coming from the guys who are building the building or renovating a bathroom, and it's 3 times the price they quoted you, at least at that moment you start to realize how much it matters.
Yeah, I mean, for the purpose of that, right? That's something different. So on a general basis, we deal with numpties who appreciate Earth is flat and believe they're on a ball, telling us how big Earth is to treat it flat. Like, so big it's flat. But in this instance, this is the other end of the scale. This is where it's just locally flat. So Earth's measured flat on the vast scale because it's so big and flat. And also locally, we can reference horizontally because locally it's flat. So to summarise, Earth is measured flat.
Said it already. Just stick with your first point. Pine? Or Plum Bob, stick with your first point. So you don't care about the nature of reality.
No, I mean, like, you can care about the nature of reality, but let's say someone has a false perception or idea of the nature of reality. Why would that be bad? It just for the virtue of believing a false thing?
Because it means you're not operating in reality. So,
I mean, I don't agree with the guy who's just said it's... I don't care would be my answer to that question. Why does it matter? I don't care. You want to operate on some la-la land non-reality? Good for you. Go ahead.
I think
was that QE on the video?
Yes, I think so.
The guy's in 24/7 or politics or one of those. Like, he's in that server. That's why I recognize the people talking. You didn't hear Crit in there before?
So I was wrong.
Nathan, it does matter. This guy is on the road driving a car. He doesn't know what reality is. He's unwilling to accept reality. What's likely to happen with that guy?
Yeah,
I just answered this once. I just answered this. I don't care. How come what you've said?
If you're on the road with him and you're there with your family in the car and this guy can't understand reality.
Oh, no, that's very different. And then it's life and death. Then that man is either going with the reality of us navigating the flat plane we dwell atop, or he's getting out of the car.
Yeah, I find this question, what is the shape of the Earth matter, coming from the Globers, right? I find that to be just right on the same level as why would they lie, right? Because I find it fascinating. You're going to ask me now, why does it matter what the shape is when, again, you're arguing with me about what the shape is. You want me to believe what you believe, but yet you're going to ask me now, why does it matter? How does that make any sense? Of course it matters. It matters even more so to you than to me, right? Because you're the one trying to change me back to what you believe it is.
Yeah, it matters today.
Consensus driven.
Just one sec, Brian. Daz, did you want to add
Well-
something? Hold on one sec. Daz, you just off mute accidentally. Daz?
Sorry.
That's all right.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
fix
Brian.
it?
I just say the chocolate, like it matters to them. You know, when they say, what does it matter? That means you don't, it matters a lot to you. It means that you don't want to address reality. I'll tell you why it matters to me. It matters to me because we were told the earth was something it's not. And there's people out there who've been in a position to continue this life. And we're dealing with a situation where there's a lot of people out there who are going along with and believing and defending basically a religion that we have no need for. It's only holding back the
Exactly.
world.
Exactly.
That's what matters to me.
And I'm sorry, man. Yeah,
ahead.
exactly the point. Because when I was in Discords, talking to these guys, I would get asked this question too. And the thing to me would be like, well, why does it matter to your very paradigm? Why are they intent to make sure I know that I live on a magical spinning water ball before I could even say the alphabet? Right? Why is that program so important to you guys? And then you guys as adults will turn around and try to come defend it to me, and then turn around and ask me why it matters to me. No. Why does it matter to you? That's what it is. Sorry.
Because it's not a globe.
May I just say, I mean, I don't think I remember Nathan making a claim as to the shape of the Earth. Not ever, as long as I've been listening here. All that we're saying is
that's very
we're measuring
honourable.
flat.
But I have on many occasions said it could be a giant roast chicken. So that's not strictly true.
That's great. I love it. Thanks, Nathan.
Just to add to what Chocolate was saying there, it matters to him or them because it's not a globe. So they want to take away the validity of what the world is, when the same people can't shut up about it being a globe.
Instead of what does it
when
matter?
it's not a globe, they just want to go at don't matter.
Well, no.
You're
When
right.
they ask the
And
question,
usually
that
that question.
when they ask the question
Go
that
ahead.
Chocolate's objecting to, right? What does it matter? That's an opener. It's a phrased, specific question that starts the process of projecting their concern that Brian's just described onto that third party, right? What does it matter to you? When what they're actually saying is, this matters to me greatly, and I instantly need to project every bit of it onto you, so that I am relieved of that.
Yeah, and usually this question will either be one of the first questions asked about by one of the Globers or a normie, right? Either that, or it'll be the very last question when that Glober realizes they have no argument against facts. So that's what it'll come down to. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. We can't know everything. I don't even know if I'm here and talking to you. Like, these are things literally have been said to me and other people in Discord, and like, this is what they do, man. It's insane, kind of. It's amusing.
Yeah, but you know where they're doing
It's a
that.
scam.
Go on, Neil, I go after you.
Saying it's all a scam because they're profiting from this. I don't care what you say. There's major profiting going on from Earth being a globe. It's all a scam.
What I would say on the back of what Chocolate was saying there is that something I wanted to throw in there, and it's perfect. What Chocolate said was perfect, is because what they want to do is take it away from being an argument that involves, like, I'm just repeating my words, that involves geometry and entropy, because that's really the argument, isn't it? And turn it into some philosophical conversation that we can indulge in that won't matter.
Yep.
So they want to take it away from the things that would prove or disprove their position and turn it into what would it matter? Well,
Yes, and that happens when they realize they have no proof for it. Then they'll go into the obscure and vague and, oh, I don't know what nobody can know what everything is and blah blah blah. Even though 5 minutes ago you were telling me exactly what it was, you realize now that what you just said was debunked. So now, oh, we don't know. That's adorable.
Yeah.
In my experience, when I've talked to people they don't realize that we're not even allowed to explore the Earth. So the Antarctic Treaty forbids us this, and it is enforced. So
where are the guns, Mickey Mouse? Where are the guns?
I just find it fascinating that many times I've heard that argument, and then, when I mentioned the Antarctic Treaty, they have no idea about it. They never heard about it. I don't know if that's
Why
just
are we even talking about it?
coincidental, or do you guys have a similar experience?
Well, I'm sure Dave McKeegan has done a video on the Antarctic Treaty that will go through it and kind of try to make it into something that it is, because Dave tends to do that. He tends to talk very nonchalant about things while trying to be in opposition to someone else's opinion concerning it, and he ends up supporting their opinion. It's like, why is that door open on the Blue Origin? There's a handle inside. You know what I mean? It's like Dave McKeegan does that.
No, Dave helps support the Feast of Nonsense narrative as it's being discussed in real time. So for him to be on the ball and saying the same thing, well, they have got a handle inside. Look, they've got a handle to open it. It's perfectly normal. Nothing to see here. It's the same position that he holds. We're saying, because of crap about the handle, there's no sky vacuum. But if he's taking the perceived, flat earth stance or normie stance, if the normies are the one saying something's not right here, it's fishy, the door shouldn't open that way, and he's saying, yeah, it should, look, it's opening that way, and I didn't care. It's another one where I watched that and saw the door open, saw it close, I didn't care. I didn't think anything about it. Suddenly when it became a big deal, I'm like, what? Why is that the thing that you focus on? Realise they've travelled up to be in a black area that's claimed to be a sky vacuum, right? That's the bit. That's the main bit. You're supposed to not look at that bit. That bit's supposed to go by without any concern, and then argue forever about what happened on the ground after the landing. Well, Dave just supports that version of how things get argued about. I've got the chat up and I've had for a while. Just wanted to say a big shout out to my mods. So when I was in politics, which I've recently been banned from, I often shouted out and hailed their mods for being excellent. Well, my own mods are exceptional, the best mods there are, and I want to shout them out. So shout out to my Flat Earth Debate mods. You're all awesome.
Hit play.
Yeah, their Virgin Droid is unstoppable. Sorry. Go on, Neil. Sorry.
I said hit play. I want to hear more.
So those who do operate in reality are going to have a good advantage over you.
Okay, so now let's say someone believes that the Earth is globe-shaped. How does that affect them in reality? That, can they not go grocery shopping well enough, or?
Yeah, basically. So we discussed it already preemptively. Nice that you'd asked that question, though. Because we're describing mapping and charting the world with flat Earth elevation angles to the stars. In terms of building things, you'll need perpendicular, parallel, horizontal, parallel, vertical. All of these axioms must hold true to do anything practical on Earth, ever. So you can dumb it down to go get your groceries, but the roads that were laid to get you there relied on Earth being flat when they were measured and built.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. The said grocery required a flat baseline to build upon. As far as your paradigm, the people who built that grocery store using a flat baseline to build upon it, they required air, which requires a container. So that's two things in your paradigm that just can't happen.
It's worth thinking of Earth kind of like it's like a Home Depot.
Yeah, it's like, I was going to say that. That's exactly where I was going. It's like, what about the shopping centre he goes into, the Walmart, right? Does that have a curved floor? Because according to you, it should be curved. Because, every tile should just be a tangent.
Now,
Earth is like a Walmart floor.
let me tell you something about Home Depot, Walmart. All those floors are perfectly leveled because they're self-leveled. poured concrete.
I know that, Neil. I'm just saying, from this guy's point of view, he's saying, how would it matter? What about how we lay out a floor in Home Depot? What about flying a plane like Wolfie? He was adjusting for the Coriolis. Do you know what I mean? I think it can be very dangerous for someone to be out as a sphere and be operating machinery and laying down floors and all this kind of stuff, because they could do it very wrong.
The only way you can operate from a sphere is if you cut that baby in half and you work from the center of it. And guess what? When you do that, you're on a flat plane, buddy.
It's the
No.
underlying question. No, go ahead.
You can do all that. It just shapes your perception of things in a pretty significant way.
Because I have a hunch.
Flying around.
I have a hunch why it matters, but maybe I'm way off. But I don't want to say it just yet. I'll say it, but I just want to get different ideas. Like so far, I asked this question in the chat, and I got, well, because we've been lied to. And then I asked the follow-up question, well, okay, but why does that lie matter? There's many things that...
The truth.
I was waiting for chocolate to pop up. No, nothing.
Does the truth matter?
Well, actually, sometimes the truth can hurt you.
So he's accepted the lie then at this point.
Yeah.
But why would they lie? Why would they lie?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter.
But I'm asking for people to articulate.
Well, I disagree. Again, it doesn't matter, right? The world will still continue to function as it functions, regardless of your belief, which is what's being discussed here. So as much as Brian can probably pipe up and disagree with me for a second time, I will double down on it. It doesn't matter. Earth will still be measured and negotiated, built on, charted, navigated, sailed upon and flown across flat, regardless of you believe otherwise. Makes no difference. Go on, Brian, tell me how wrong I am. Feel free. No, nothing? Fair enough.
You're building a straw man. You're building a straw man there. Because I said it matters when someone's operating machinery, if they want to, and laying a floor, if they want to believe that every tile is a new tangent point, the floor is not going to be level, is it? If they're flying a plane and they're accounting for Coriolis, they're likely to crash. See, these are the things that you have to be worried about.
I did say that. I said all that.
They're around the hell. Whoa. You created a straw man. Let me tell you something, right? We need to go back in history here about exactly who was telling who years ago that they need the earth to be flat to do all these things. Was it you telling me that, or was it me telling you that?
I vaguely remember me telling you a couple of years.
I remember it was me, and I remember you
years before.
So don't hear no more of that nonsense.
Look, but I did just disclaim all that, though. I did say, if we're going to do anything practical, go on whoever it is in Discord. Feel free. Yeah, if we're going to build on it, sail across it, chart it, navigate it, map it, fly over it, it's going to be flat, right? For all practical purposes, it's got to be flat. Now, if you're saying it matters when you do something practical, I completely agree. I'm just referencing, it's not a straw man, I'm saying these guys and their concern. Who cares? For you, does it matter if you know or don't know? No, it don't matter. That's what I'm saying.
That I agree with. Up to a point. Individually, it doesn't matter what he believes or whatever. But it matters when it becomes a consensus issue. That's when it matters. And we're being told the earth is something that it's not. So in that way, I would have to disagree with you.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Moose. Mess. Mickey Mess.
Yeah, from a Christian point of view, if I may open this Pandora's box, that was one of the things that kind of disturbed me a long time, and I couldn't figure it out until I discovered Flat Earth, which is in the scriptures, it is written that when Christ returns, every eye shall see him and every ear will hear him at the same time. So if the earth was a ball and you're in Australia and for some reason he appears in Germany, how the hell are you going to see him?
The internet.
yeah, funny. No, but so from that would be just one example. But if we were to just extrapolate a little bit, why the lie? Well, Satan is a deceiver. And it is his goal to deceive even the elect, to deceive everyone. And what better way than to make the world believe you're in a spinning ball? It's great.
Yes,
it's a great deception. It's fantastic.
In Isaiah, he says, I will ascend above the clouds, above the stars. I will be like the Most High. And here we are in a heliocentric system.
You're going to need to get a flat earth.
Right. And it all started from an explosion of nothing, which then created the universe, which then created your ball.
Well, what it does matter is... Go ahead, Chuck, I'm sorry.
Jesus was a carpenter, right? So
they say.
Yeah, they say. So he would have understood what level is.
He laid the foundations of the earth. He drew a line across it, right? He spoke it into existence, and he did not speak a globe into existence. You can't show me anywhere in Scripture where there's a globe. But that's why there is a globe today in all the classrooms, because anything but God.
Oh, I'm really grateful to Retro Bill, right? So at the moment, I'm doing 3 different things that could be considered gainful employment, right? Author, YouTuber, and eBayer. And in the last 2 days, I've had an absolutely abysmal time of it on eBay, right? I had a string of things tested that don't work. And then today I've authorized a refund I didn't need to. Stupid mistakes. And then Retro Bill has sent a super chat. Great show today. Thanks, Nathan and panel. For $10. That means he was compelled to tell us so much that it was a good show today. Now, when things are going wrong in another aspect of my life, Retro Bill, you telling me that it's been a good show today really means the world to me. Thank you so much. That has really cheered me up. And obviously, thanks for the $10. Definitely need it at the moment. But more importantly, the sentiment I'm grateful for. Thank you so much for the super chat. Retro Bill.
Shout out to you, Retro Bill. Retro Bill been around for a minute. Shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, see, you're grateful for the $10. But I know some people that will curse that $10. But let's not bring that up. Hit play.
What are you talking about? No, I don't. What are you talking about? Who would care $10? That's insane. That makes no sense. What are you talking about?
I think you know who.
No, I don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking.
I'll tell you off air.
Chocolate.
Chocolate, have you been cursing $10 again? What are you babbling about, Neil? Tell us.
What?
There was a certain panel member who used to be on here who said, I don't need the stupid $10 whenever you give me $10. I can't use that.
Oh, you're talking about
thank
Arwin.
you.
You're talking about Arwin.
Yeah, that shit pissed me off.
Okay.
Well, I think with the new situation, and we're finally away from the politics server, which was a fun run, but in my opinion, it was kind of like a stuck thing. I think this opened the doors and our minds to start reaching more people. I didn't find Nathan on politics Discord server. I found Nathan on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Or Instagram, other people. So in order to get better reach and in preparation of the release of this awesome book that's coming out, I think Nathan did himself an awesome favor in getting himself banned from the politics server, so we can finally start focusing on venues that will give better reach and a better platform. Not only for Nathan, but also for the book.
Yeah, you parallel something that came in a different sentiment, right? You'll understand when I explain. So, click OK on the panel. Craig Jr. was saying that because of the manner I was banned from politics, it builds up my profile in infamy and not for negative reasons. So I kind of frowned when he told me this, and he went over it. Craig, that is Craig, the younger Craig. They're both called Craig at Click OK, which is slightly confusing. But the younger of the two Craigs, right? He's saying, because it's pretty obvious to anybody who goes back and references what you said, that you're not being overtly racist when you use, I spit when I do it, the N word. I will use the terminology I've been told I must use. But when I used the N word contextually and without a hint of racism to diffuse someone else's overt racism, and then got banned for it, that increases the chances of your name, Nathan Oakley, going down in that regard, infamy. Now, when you're building a profile, Craig Jr. was saying, take it. Does it matter? Build your profile up through infamy if that's what you're going to build it up through. Now, you're saying it's good that run, good though it was drawn to a conclusion just before you're going to go out and build up your own channel via YouTube videography means and other people who will be promoting the book, hopefully. I haven't actually done this yet, but hopefully once the book comes out, people will actually want to talk to me about it on their shows and, sign up for the affiliate link and all that kind of stuff. Well, that will take my YouTubing to another level. I already know that's going to be the case. I'm kind of mentally prepared for it. As long as I can weather the financial storm in the meantime and keep a little bit of money ticking in while we finish it off, I know that's on the horizon. Right, I've already said this in yesterday's show. The light at the end of the tunnel is very much glaring into the train windows now, right? So just a little bit further, as long as I don't lose the roof over my head in the last few stages, last couple of months, I'll be all right, right? But then it means I can completely focus on that. I can just focus on promoting the book and promoting what we do via my name. Obviously, my name's above the door, but it's what we do here that gets promoted as a byproduct of all that hard work over the last couple of years. And indeed, the eBay thing comes into that as well. As much as everyone's moaning, I don't hear about mics. I'm like, well, no, that kept the roof over my head while I couldn't keep the ad revenue coming in from YouTube. Like, I was dedicating the time that was doing YouTubing to booking, and then the revenue dipped, and if I hadn't done something, I'd have lost the roof over my head. There's a chance the book would have just failed and fizzled into nothing. Because if the author himself isn't there, as much as Brian's like, you hardly do anything, everyone else is writing it for you. Like, no, I have actually got to be sat here. As much as this is a part of the process where I am actually literally not doing very much. I am still there the entire time. It is still mentally draining as much as... Fortnite. Yeah, but sometimes I am playing Fortnite.
We can refer you as the nominal author.
Here we go. That wasn't an invitation for these jokes to start. What I'm saying is, right, during the latter stages...
You didn't mind making me the bad guy.
I'm not going to get to make this point, am I? Here we go.
No.
I had to hold up for my boy, Brian. Real quick.
I don't want to hear about Neil interrupting anymore. I just witnessed 5 interruptions.
Come on now, did you hear what he said?
Listen, I was the original interrupter.
Yes, I was
anyway,
about to come in and take you back and say, we're only breaking your chops.
Fine, but my point is, if I wasn't there at all, there would be no book, right? As much as you could say, you're playing Fortnite. Yeah, while I'm sat there and watching it and keeping a very close ear on what's going on, while watching it happen, yeah, getting jigged around by Adam. And you could easily argue, well, Adam's expelling more mental energy than you are. Yeah, damn right he is. I'm acutely aware of that. I'm still there. I'm still expending the mental energy to do it. It's still part of the process. Yes, I don't have to say much. Yes, I can play Fortnite while it's going on around me, as they're saying it now. I'm not embarrassed about that fact. But can I just bugger off? No, I did the other day. Did I come back, Brian, too? Did I come back to the book being done? No. We came back to you discussing the presentation we did on yesterday's show. Didn't we, Brian?
Hold on. That's because we finished up. We were waiting on you to see if you wanted to keep a certain section in the book or not.
That's the point, isn't it? Right, without me there, suddenly there's going to be a point where it will and can and does and has ground to a halt. So, yeah, jokes aside, you can all nudge me, and it's fun, and for the audience's benefit, it is genuinely in good humour. They know they're irritating me. I'm smiling about it because I've got to keep we're live, right? So if it wasn't, they'd be getting sworn at because they know it's annoying, and they know they're annoying me. They know they're touching a nerve while everyone's doing work around me, and I'm not saying much. Brian knows he's hitting a nerve, bastard.
What do you
Well,
mean? You get annoyed that everybody's writing a book for you?
Here we
No
go.
problem.
You
Your
can't.
name's still going to go
Neil,
on it.
Neil, there's an art to touching those nerves. Your delivery isn't going to be successful. Brian does it with the right amount of pep. You haven't got that magic, I'm afraid, son. Sorry.
Well, to empathise with you, Nathan, I once watched a movie when someone was in the same room as me building a kitchen cabinet. So I know what that's like.
Oh, yeah. Was it in the cinema itself? Man, it's rough round you.
No, I feel like I built a cabinet with him. Like I was building it myself.
Oh, it was you.
And you have to try to turn me into the bad guy here on your voice in this, right? Brian said this, Brian said that. Listen, Brian wouldn't be able to say anything if you were active and involved.
I've missed the timing to pull at this thread. Oh, no, the nerve is not going to get struck. Oh, how can I capitalise on this? Not smart enough. Oh, no.
Hit play.
Anyway. We're coming up for 10 minutes left on the live show. I typically like to do an hour, right? And it seems to me, I've noticed a pattern. We get to this point, I'll point out that we've got about 10 minutes left on the live show, and then there's suddenly something very pressing that everyone wants to do, and then we end up going over by about 20 minutes each and every single day. So I'm going to see if I can do something about that. I want to round out on the hour today, not for any other reason.
We never want to leave. We never want to leave, Nathan. That's what it is.
I would do this
I
all
never
day.
understood that.
What?
I'll be honest. I never understood that leaving on the hour. Oh, it has to be finished on an hour. Like, why does it have to be finished? Why can't it not just be longer, like now and again? Why does it need to be an exact? I understand starting at 2 o'clock. That I understand, so it's consistent. But the ending doesn't have to be consistent. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, what are you
The
interrupting to
adults
do?
start playing Fortnite around late afternoon, bro.
Yeah, Central. Yeah, Central has you caught. Yeah, exactly.
No, nothing to do with that. I just want, if I keep the show consistently as an hour, then there's I have to use the word, I'm afraid, a pressure on you guys to keep the material that we do have in the live show consistently of a high quality. If I just say, don't worry about it, we'll stay live for 3 hours, you'll be like, oh, no worries, I'll nip down the shops, I'll get my laundry done, and maybe we'll pop along back and we'll still be live. And it's like, no, just if we keep it to an hour every day, I can't think of the last show I wasn't proud of. I'm proud of yesterday's show, especially Brian. You should be too. Very, very Brian heavy show yesterday.
Well, I was very happy that you promoted the video and you promoted the thing that I wanted to. I initially wanted to be a presentation, but I couldn't get QE's attention. Long story short, my point being about going longer is when a show is going good, you might finish up at the hour at 3 o'clock London time. If you kept it going till 4 o'clock London time, loads of stuff can happen in the after show where people would love to be listening to you and throwing super chats and all the rest of it and sharing. Do you know what I mean? So often the stuff happens in the after show and good stuff that happens that over the years, maybe not as much these days, but over the years, there was loads of stuff and it was the after show and no one could give you a super chat. That's just my point. Like, it's like my point is you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot sometimes with that.
Okay. I mean, just want to keep it of a high quality, a high standard. So if you under the misapprehension that the show can go on forever, then there's people become lax, complacent. I need to keep those standards high. So an hour is, I'm sure those words would sound wonderful to a lover. The great pillow talk. Why can't this last forever?
No, sometimes your timing on things, it baffles me too. That time you went on that show with that guy, Patrick, right? There was people probably looking for your show. And what did they get? A week of nothing. Because you buggered off somewhere when that was the time to be right there doing a show.
I got paid to do that.
But you use the money straight away. You use the money for some improvement with the computer at the time. That the computer could have done without for a week. But there was loads of people wanted to join your live show. That's always there. And it wasn't there.
Hold on, let me break this down for the audience, right? Someone offered me money to do something. And I went, you'll pay me to do flat earthing? Absolutely, without question, yes. I went and did it, got paid, and then immediately invested the money back into a computer that I had horrendous issues with for several years to resolve the issue by just putting a new graphics card in it. I reinvested the money immediately back into my show. Now they're saying, why didn't you leave the piece of crap that was constantly falling over and crashing every single day? Because people wanted to join that day.
No, at that particular
That's
time.
not what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. At that particular time, you were keeping the show going. The computer wasn't falling over. There was just certain things that you had to be careful of with it. And you could have gone for an extra week and then got the thing done with it.
Or even just a couple of days. Even just a couple of days. Because there was people that were interested.
I don't know what you're moaning about. I really don't. I love doing this though. This is my favourite bit. Talking about this. This is great. How we're YouTubing. Because that's all we're talking about, right? How I'm putting myself out there.
No, we're airing our grievances towards you because you're threatening to end the show early. So
Or not putting yourself out there like you did that time. Like,
that's something maybe I should plug that, right? That's something I've never plugged. It's just people aren't aware. Maybe they are. I am actually a total whore, and I probably absolutely have mentioned this previously. But if you want me to go on your show, right, and maybe people think I'm saying it for dramatic effect, just pay me. It's not even like I ask a huge amount of money. I think I got a few $100s out of that particular appearance, enough to buy a graphics card or something like that. But, you know, it wasn't an astronomical amount of money. It's not like I'm going to turn around and say, yeah, I want $1,000. Not at all. But there's loads of people out there like, Nathan won't come on my neutral platform. You're like, yeah, well, pay me. It's not going to cost you a fortune. You'll probably make it back in Super Chats. No worries. I'll sit there while you tell me, as Brian puts it, right, this is where Brian and I completely align, right? We absolutely agree with each other. You want to shout me down for a while? Like for an hour? Okay. So if you were paying me $200 and you just shouted me down for 2 hours and you didn't get any responses out of me, and I got $200 out of it, good deal. you get your pain relief for $200. An hour of my time, and I don't even have to answer you because you keep talking over me. No worries. I'll do that for no worries. Right, Brian's like he wants more money, but the same is true, right, Brian? You want to talk over me for a couple of hours? Just pay me. No worries.
Yeah, well, my attitude is if they're going to waste my time for 2 hours, I want to get handsomely paid for it. So in your position, I understand. It's like, you just do it for 2 hours for a couple of hundred. I'm charging thousands. And the reason is I don't want to do it. I don't want to be talking to them. But if they really want to talk to me on their nonsense platforms, that's going nowhere, not going to help me in any way, not going to help my YouTube channel in any way, going to be like 95% or more followers on their channel, maybe 98% followers, who are just going to have all negative stuff to say about me and say to me, they want me to come on their channel and have my time wasted like that and be abused. Then pay me. You want to pay me $5,000 for that, for 5,000 euros for that 2 hours. Otherwise, don't waste my time.
Yeah,
waste my time.
But just
if they invited you to speak at MIT, would you not go for nothing, Brian?
Yeah, for nothing, because it's not like I'd expect them just to cover whatever expenses I need. But I would do that in this position I'm in now. I wouldn't be, because I do it for nothing, because it's not a waste of my time.
Yeah, I've done that too. So that was another acid test. Maybe I shouldn't be letting this go. But so with Vice, they covered my expenses, right? So I had to travel down to London, Ali Pally, and there was a few travel expenses and lunch and things, and they covered all of it, right? To their credit, they did actually pay for that. But I wasn't out of pocket. In other words, anything that I had to pay to get there and be there and or eat or whatever it was, they were like, no, just give us receipts. We'll pay you back for all of it. And they did. And they wanted me specifically. They didn't want to pay petrol. They said that was a pain in the ass. They wanted me specifically to go on the train so I could submit the train ticket as an expense. I was like, I hate not driving. But I kowtowed because I wanted to do it. And I couldn't have afforded to do it if they didn't pay my expenses. So there's been many times when Mark Sargent, to his credit, often passed, or used to, because I turned so much down, he doesn't anymore. But back in the day, Mark Sargent would pass this stuff to me. This guy wants to interview a flurf. I'd be like, okay, fine, pass him over. And when they were like giving off the vibes that they just wanted to ridicule you, they weren't in any way inclined to pay my expenses. They want to chastise me like these idiots on these neutral platforms. Nathan doesn't want to journal. It's like, when you're paying me, even if it's a nominal amount, in the case of Vice, they didn't pay me. They paid my expenses. That's not paying me, right? It just didn't cost me anything to go to London to do their interview, to get however a million views on Vice. Great, good for me. I want that, but not if it costs me money. Now, at the risk that they just wanted to ridicule me, which I didn't think they did after testing the water and talking to the producer and talking to a bit of the crew and interacting with them, and, you know, they were amiable people willing to pay my expenses, so I did it. Now, people went, oh, but they paid a theremin at the back, so it sounded like woo, weird music while you're talking about there being no Earth curve, so that made you look silly, was some people's attitude. And you're like, okay, reached 1 million people talking about flat Earth, my face was on it, I say that's worth it. Unless it cost me 100 quid, then it wouldn't have been. I'd still be seething. I mean, I've literally today, with this microphone that I've authorised a return on when I didn't need to, it's going to have cost me 40 quid. That's what I'm saying. In reality, if it does actually come back, I'll still be made whole. I'll have it. I'll have it to sell again. So in reality, it's just the annoyance of having to sell it again for 40 quid. But I see that as costing me 40 quid. And even that is to the point where I've literally, and I'm not even joking, I shed a tear over it. I was absolutely livid with myself for making, like, authorising it when I didn't need to, through the, whatever it's called, eBay service. I forgot what it's called now, the appeals service. I'd, like, lasted out the time and then instigated appeal when I didn't need to. Idiot. Right? Now, even now, it might not wing its way back. The punter might not notice. I'm still furious with myself. So when people are like, come and waste time you haven't got for me to share my pain and tell you you're an idiot for an hour or two, while you then get an opportunity to talk back and I can mute you. Yeah? That's what people want when they ask me that. I'm like, how much you paying? Nothing.
Yeah. Why would you join in on it then?
What? What?
Unless you're a masochist, why would you, Nathan Oakley, want to be on someone's channel, getting muted and being abused?
Money.
Yeah.
I'm willing to listen to the guy a week ago, when he was opening his case for this microphone, lie through his back teeth about receiving something I personally packed immaculately, tested. You as an audience probably saw his microphone on a video I produced, and he's saying it arrived damaged. He takes a picture of it, perfect, sat on bubble wrap. Now, when I spoke, literally, because I did, I phoned eBay over this. I am furious, eBay. I've done everything right. I've tested it. I've wrapped it perfectly. I've helped him. I've given him hours of service testing it. For him, he's just lying. Yeah? Well, I've dealt with that for hours so as not to have a £40 return where eBay are themselves paying for the return postage fee. I'm not paying that, right? So even now, I'm still fuming over that. Well, you say to me, I'll give you 200 quid. Come and sit on my channel for an hour and I'll mute you indefinitely. Now, the other thing is, right, if that was the case, and they were like, yeah, okay, there's an exchange of money, they're giving me a couple of $100 for the sake of argument, right? They want value from the $200. They don't just want the pain relief. When the male wanted to talk to me, they eventually got that Karen chick from Sun, Moon and Zodiac Group. Do you remember her with the big wild hair? Well, they got her. Now, did they pay her expenses? No. Did they ridicule her like a witch? Yes, they did. Now, when I spoke to them and they were a bit unforthcoming and they weren't entertaining anything about expenses, you didn't get anywhere near that conversation, I knew damn well to just ignore them because it wasn't going to benefit me. It was only going to be of benefit to them. Now, there's going to be empathic tossers out there that go, oh, I see how this might give me props. You're a newspaper. No, dickhead, learn how the bleeding world works. Now, if on the other hand you're giving me money, it's like I'll weigh it up against my time. Now, I don't earn very much, right? I'm on the verge of poorness always, and have been for 10 years. So you dangle a few quid in front of me, there's a good chance I'll go, that makes a difference for me this month. Yeah, I'll take a couple of £100 for you to put me on mute when you ask me, how do you explain these windmills on this horizon? Well, that's kind of a function of... All right, no worries. You can rant over me. No worries. As long as I get to count the 200 quid at the end of it.
Exactly. Make it work. What's in it for me? You know, it has to be something in it for me. Because if you're not getting paid anything to go on to those bloody stupid channels and listen to them idiots, right, drone on and get pain relief, what's the point in being there? Who's going to do that? See, they want you to go there and give them the pain relief that they need for free. It's like, no, I'm not giving you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, I'm not giving that to you. If you want that, you're going to have to pay for it. You know, how much do you want it? You know what I mean? You're like the neuro thing, where they're paying.
Yeah, and when you put a dollar amount on someone's mental pain, they suddenly treat it very differently. People are very... I'm going to go with ignorant. People are ignorant of the value of their own time. Now, that obviously changes on a scale depending on who you are, what you do, and how much what you do earns. Obviously, that's going to vary massively from person to person. But you have to weigh that dollar amount, pound amount for me, against your own mental well-being, happiness, right? You've only got, in my opinion, a very limited amount of time. And to me, I made this decision quite some time ago, the time is much more valuable. Now, often you find that that is incongruent with keeping a bleeding roof over your head. And you have to go, I'm going to dedicate the next hour to back and forth messages on eBay with somebody about a 40 quid microphone. Because I don't want to lose that 40 quid. It makes all the difference to whether I can keep a roof over my head. So I am going to spend the hours and hours and hours back and forthing on a stupid eBay messaging service because I see that value in this instance. Now, for today, that makes the difference. But if I was in 6 months out on the trail doing book interviews and trying to get people to sign up to the affiliate program and earn their 30% off my sale of my book, I get an eBay return for somebody who wants to return a 100 quid microphone. Have the 100 quid. Just keep it. Might be my attitude. Because suddenly I've got a very different attitude about what my time is worth at that particular moment. Yeah? Now read between the lines if you want pain relief from Nathan Oakley currently when I'm having to run 3 jobs. And I don't want to hear any of you. You're doing Fortnite while you're doing the book. Yeah, at some point. But how long we've been doing the book now? It's coming on for 18 months of it. Yeah, so don't tell me I don't put my heart and soul into this bleeding book because I occasionally play Fortnite while the spell checker's going over it with Adam. How dare you all? You're all scum.
It's going to be a great book at that. And number 2, let me ask you a question. Have you turned down more interviews than you've accepted?
But turned down what?
Have you turned down more opportunities like interviews more than you have accepted?
Oh, yeah, massively.
They might be trying to ridicule you.
Hugely. If you see any interview that I've done that's outside of my own channel where I'm earning my own money, like now, right? I mean, I've earned a tenner, right? Retro Bill, I remember the sentiment more than the money. I absolutely assure you today I needed that, man. Thank you so much. It was a crap day testing microphones, one after the next not working after you've spent money on them. Oh, I could cry. I didn't yesterday. Today I did. Refunds for things I've already sold. Absolutely heartbreaking. My point is, right, I've forgotten my point. What was my point? What were you just asking, Neil? I was responding to something. I've forgotten what it was.
How many interviews have you turned down?
Most of them. Most of them. I will get in touch with the person and try and build a rapport. So I did several interviews and events. I did a year in review. I did the... I can't remember what he called it when they did the interview with me as a just flat earther, like an on the bed with Paula style. There was all sorts of things I did with Vice because I built a rapport with them, right? That is to say, it was a symbiotic relationship where I benefited, they benefited. Most of what we did together didn't get published. Yeah, to say that I do things, they would get filmed and then they'd tell me after the fact when they were like, oh, this will come out X time, and then it didn't. I'd be like, where's that? And they're like, oh, we decided it didn't quite function in our current lineup of material that we were releasing, so we just didn't carry on the editing process. You mean you axed it? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you just be blunt with me, just tell me. We didn't want it anymore, we thought it was crap, so we're not using it. You just say that and I can get off your phone call, right? But I built a rapport with Vice, and some of it did get out, right? Some of it made it out and people saw me on the Vice channel, right? Great. But I got paid. My expenses didn't lose money. 9 times out of 10, They only want the pain relief. Why would they be any different to anti-flat earthers in that regard if it's a newspaper? It's just a guy doing his job. The fact that he's getting paid to sat at the newspaper is no different to somebody who's in their leisure downtime, not getting paid and getting the same pain relief. So if you can build a rapport with that person and you like them, then you'll work with them sometimes for free, right? I rely on that at the moment. I'm not paying Adam a dime while I moan about how many months I've put into my own bleeding book. It's mine. Adam at the moment's going through it and spelling checking, telling me he's tired, and I'm like, bloody hell, I hope he doesn't ascribe his tiredness to my book that he's helping with. God, please, Adam, please be something else that you're doing that's knackering you out. You know what I mean? Because as much as you're just playing Fortnite, there are points that it gets like, oh God, I actually do need Adam to be doing what he's doing for free, right? He's giving up huge chunks of his time. Well, if you want that out of me, you've got to build a rapport with me. So you're going to do that for some wanker like we deal with here when they come to me and I'm making coin off them coming to me? No. You Simon Dans and such can have me, but they'd have to pay. It's just that simple. You know? The whore, she's not going to get in the car unless you pay her. Me, I'm the whore. Do you not get it? Anyway, I'm comparing doing interviews with Turning Tricks, which is pretty low. I do feel that way.
I don't like when you do that. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm just saying, thanks, Neil. I'm just saying they want your time, and that's okay. It's okay to give your time when it's worth your while, when there's something positive to come out of it, something in the future, maybe even some positive financially in the future. Right? The point is that what benefit, let's say, from a positive point of view, can you get from going onto one of these channels to speak to one of these people who just wants to mute you, just wants to overtalk you, who's going to come out at you with the same utter BS that the rest of them have come at you for 10 years with? What is the point? What are you there for? There's nothing there for you. So pay me and I'll be there. Otherwise, go away. You know what I mean? Just take your pain and go away. Bring it to the ocean. Leave the ocean deal with your pain. I don't care about it.
Give your pain to the... What? Bloody hippie. Give your pain to the ocean.
I don't know. It's just not my
Bring your pain to the ocean. I like that.
You like that? Bloody hell, surrounded by hippies.
Yeah, but it's like you can't take their pain away. You like shouting at you is a temporary thing. It's like those teeth need to get pulled. They need to go. A couple of Nurofen are not going to sort it. Do you know what I mean?
Let me adjust something real quick. Mr. Buck Sodbuster, he was the one that got the pitch data, wasn't he? Pitch data. It was Buck, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Buck.
he's
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Buck Sodbuster, I am sorry, but I will not be signing Nathan's book for you. I will sign it for Skeptic 936 because that's my boy.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to Discord and G+ one more time for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.